Hello YouTubers, it's Ryan. We're back at Texas Beef Farm. I hope everyone's been enjoying all the seasonal changes and whatever part of the hemisphere you're in. Maybe you're not even part of North America and some other country. We hope you're enjoying your weather there as well. We are shifting some operational things out here. We're going to be doing we're switching over to the fall winter operations. On September 22nd, the equinox does its thing. You know, I'm not a scientist or anything like that, but that's when autumn/fall begins. We already have shorter days out here, and when you have shorter days, your grass grows a little bit slower. So summer's behind us pretty much, almost. We have a few weeks left, but the weather's getting cooler. It's a beautiful 65 right now this morning. We need to clean all our forage properties for our cattle, and we need to make sure our hay cutting fields are ready for hay cutting season next year. Now, some of the things that we can do to get our hay cutting fields better is fertilizing. There is a plant out here called Johnson's grass, and what we need to do is cut it as soon as it starts leafing up. The last thing we want with that Johnson grass is for it to head. The reason I want to get rid of this Johnson's grass is, number one, there's no nutritional value on it, and number two, it could be quite poisonous if you cut it too late. Now, we haven't been under drought conditions, and that's when the poison happens. I just don't like it. It jams up the hay baler. It's hard on the tractor to turn all that, and every time it gets in our fields and I'm baling hay, it gets clogged in the hay baler. So right now, what I'm up to is using the John Deere 7810, and it's got a 15-foot bat wing, and I'm going out to all our hay fields and cutting down that Johnson grass that's about a foot high. In addition to fixing our hay fields, we need to start plowing a lot in the back that didn't get planted last year. So originally this lot had Sudan hay planted on it. It hasn't had Sudan hay on that field in 2 years, okay? And Johnson grass is everywhere. It's a bunch of native grass and weeds, complete junk hay. Our plan is to plant Bermuda seed. Now that lot, it's gotten high in Johnson grass, it's gotten high in weeds, it's gotten high in native grasses. So we need to take our field mower and go out there and chop all that up, and then we're gonna put the plow on that, and we're gonna plow that several times this year. We'll also plow it again in the spring, right before we plant. We should go into spring and the summertime and yield a heavy amount of hay on that. Now, I'm extremely excited about this. It's gonna take less maintenance than a Sudan field will. We plant it, the Bermuda comes back every year. Now, the difference with the Sudan is you gotta plant it, you gotta fertilize it, you gotta spray your pesticide. Now, we all know that's part of the game, but with this Bermuda grass, we just plant it, we fertilize it, and we move on. And it should grow anywhere between 12 to 20 years consistently. I mean, that's what they say on the internet, but we have Bermuda fields out here that have been growing for 20 plus years. You keep the fertilizer on it, it's good to go. The next thing we're working on in preparation for winter is making sure all our cattle have enough feed. They feed on two different things: hay that is produced in our field, and they also eat grain. For those ones that are eating grain, it's going to be our steers and our bull to keep them fit, healthy, and get those steers ready for beef production. We have our heifers and cows all mixed together in the field, which are separated from the bull and the steers, and we'll also be giving them a supplemental feed in the winter time as well. In addition to that, we have a lot of babies dropping right now. If you've been following our shorts, you see me recording almost every other week or every week that a baby is dropped. Very excited about that. Somehow we hit the timing just right. I had spoke to my father, my mother, to try to catch up and figure out when we brought the bull in. So when I started helping my parents out on the ranch / farm was back in September 2023. I had gotten the idea and told my dad about this idea about raising farm to table beef products. I come up here from Austin, Texas. We put up this janky electrical fence to hold back 2 of our bulls. Well, it didn't last that long at all. We had to bring those bulls back in to the pen. Now, somewhere along here, it's hard to figure out the gestation periods of these cows, but the bulls were penned up, I believe, from September all the way to December of 2023. But I made the decision to let those bulls out because we were in wintertime, number one, in the middle of December, and where we had our bulls stored, we had large water troughs. Well, one night we got down to freezing temperatures and our water trough was completely frozen solid. So I made a decision to let them out. Not a big deal. You know why? Because all the babies that are dropping now are fall babies dropping between September, October, November, maybe some in December. It just depends. Now, the other breeding season is to put your bull out between May and July. That's what our goal is currently. But we have this back and forth. We don't know, and we can't predict when the babies are going to drop. But I think half of our cows are going to be having babies between now and December, which is great. We already know what we have from 2027 and so on. Now, 2026 is going to be a little, what are we doing, etc. But we know kind of, sort of. So our plan is to put one bull, we got rid of the other bull, back out there in December. And the cowboys are going to be coming back in to help us with that. So Russell is going to help us bring our cattle in. We have a few heifers out there. He's a sire to these heifers. So these heifers need to be put up while he goes in the breeding season with the cows that are out there. We're excited about that because we know for a fact there's a few cows out there that are not pregnant. The reason we know they're not pregnant is because they just had babies. Those babies they just had back in July and August will be coming in for weaning in December. So that's what the cowboy is going to do. The cowboy is going to ride into town. He's going to grab all our heifers. He's going to grab all our young bulls. We're going to bring them back in. And we're going to put them in a holding pen and a separate lot. Now, this is this bull's last run. So after he breeds between December and February, we're done with him. All right? We're going to keep all his females that he gave us, and we're going to bring in a new bull, and they're going to breed with his females because we don't want inbreeding. Once that new bull comes in, he'll be going back out in May. I'm very excited about that. We've been shopping for some bulls, and there's some great looking bulls out there. In addition to prepping the hay lots and moving all this cattle around and what else? I don't think I've missed anything, but we need to get their forage lots ready. So beginning in the spring, going into summer, their forage lots are high and coastal grass, Bermuda. It's absolutely beautiful, great to forage on. But the weeds, specifically ragweeds and cockleburrs, start to take over. So what I've been doing this past week is been out in the lots, cutting down their forage lots and leaving about 4 inches of grass. That's going to allow the grass to grow up a little bit taller just before we make that dramatic seasonal change. Now the thing is with grass, you want it going into the winter time strong and leafy. Now, if your grass is cut too short, if you scalp it, that grass isn't going to grow going into the spring. So the past 2 weeks, I've been doing that. The tractor that I was using to do all this out there had a blowout. It was crazy. So I'm driving around. I got it on 106.9 The Ranch, listening to some good Texas country. I may have been singing at the top of my lungs, like, he takes the tractor another round, another, boom, the tire explodes. I was like, oh my God, what was that? And there's like water going everywhere. At the time, I didn't know it was water. I thought it was the hydraulic system in the back. I thought the line broke, or I don't know. I thought the worst possible scenario. But when I made a radial turn with that tractor, I saw that the water, or the liquid that I assumed was hydraulic, coming from the tire. It was unfortunate that that happened. It was right before we went on vacation, so not a big deal. We actually just had the tire fixed yesterday, and I'll show you that video.
I seen it on the GPS. I was like, I know where I'm going.
Yeah, that tire right there on the front was one y'all did originally. Yeah.
This is a flat tire I was telling you about earlier. We're going to have to call a professional to come out here, put this tractor on some jacks, stabilize this, get this tire off, and replace it. So that's going to put us out about 3 to 5 days. We've got dry rot back here. So that's probably going to wrap up our weekend, tie up some loose ends, and we'll be back later.
Can you tell me a little bit about the goo that goes on the tire?
It's a compound soap
Okay.
that we got right here. Murphy's.
Cool.
The best they've ever made right there. The only thing I can tell you not to do with it is get it in your eyes.
Yeah.
Because you will cry like a newborn baby. But this stuff right here is good for the lubrication on the tractor tire. And Man, we pressure wash with it, put it on our concrete, pressure wash it with it, wash our trucks with it, and it works really good. It's like a soap compound.
Cool.
This stuff works good. I like this stuff. We even have the stuff that goes inside the tractor tires for like thorns and stuff.
Okay.
It's a sealer. We use that for all the thorns and stuff like that. I got a gallon right here. That stuff right there is the best right there. That's really good stuff right there. I seen a guy yesterday. I put something in a little the 9524. I put a plug in the tire. He's like, man, it's still leaking. So check this out. I spun it one time. They said,
that's it.
he said, is that the tire? I was like, that's it. That's it. That's all it takes, you know. Just a little bit.
I'm gonna have to get some for some of those utility tractors that we have out here.
Oh, yeah, it's $50 a gallon. It's pricey a little bit, but man, I'm telling you, it's way worth it.
You make it look real easy, bro.
18, 20 years experience, this gets that way sometimes. But I've had to have my challenges. Last week, I swear every tractor tire I put on, I had to use that Murphy soap. I really didn't like using it on every tire, but it's really good. I had to use it on every tire. I probably went through 5 buckets of that stuff last week.
I appreciate it, man. Without you, wouldn't be able to get back in the field and get it, because I know I can't do that. So.
I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people think, oh, you did it. That's such a hard job you did.
It looked
Not too bad, you know.
It looked hard to me, man.
Oh yeah.
But we're ready to get back in the field.
You know?
I'm gonna call you when I'm ready to put some water in that tire to get your advice.
Yeah. Most definitely, we can definitely do it. No problem. Let's get that thing jacked up and spray, put that stuff in there, and however you want to get it done, we'll get it done.
Cool, man. I appreciate it.
So whatever you want to do, buddy, heck yeah, we're on your team.